Welcome to the World Builders Anvil, episode 151. Today's topic is no topic. We are doing Enter the Steward.
Swine Steward.
Oh, yes. Death of the Wine Steward.
Not Death of the Wine Steward.
No, I didn't say that. Don't know where to start building your fantasy world? Do you need more? Does it make sense? Forget any worries and become a crafter of imagination. This is the place that will help prime your mind. Now, it's time to heat up the forge, break out the mithril ingots and hammer. Welcome to the World Builders Anvil. I'm your host, Jeffrey W. Ingram. Let's sup from the mug of Java and build. Welcome back. As always, I'm Jeffrey W. Ingram, and I'm here today with Cappy. Which is really unfair to do to the audience because it's a joke we just created.
They didn't hear the joke. My name is Michael Miller, as always, the co-host of the World Builders Anvil. And Jeff's right. No subject today. We are subjectless. We are without our subjects. Our subjects have run away.
Bravely.
Wisely.
Yes, and today we're going to have some fun. If I remember correctly, this is the role-playing game that we've been playing in my friend Matthew Bannock's DeScriptors. And we've probably been playing it very poorly, but we've had one heck of a lot of fun doing it. It's actually a really kind of fun game if you're worried about story and that's all you care about in a game. This is a wonderful game. I can see it like very good for a party kind of evening, like great for one-shots or even a great for a campaign. If really the only thing you care about is story. As a game master, my only critique would be I don't really understand how to kill Michael, and so we might cheat around that when I murder.
Because you've ever had difficulty killing my character. You in one game you killed my character at least 3 times, and you killed another character that I came in with as a guest star. Oh, now you're laughing because you remember that.
I don't remember the guest star killing.
You don't remember the He's the old guy with the pots and pans and the bag of holding. And remember, every time I reached into the bag of holding, I would bang around a bunch of pots and pans within the bag just to screw with people.
And I killed him then too. Jeez.
You killed him then. You killed him in the alleyway with like a big demon creature that everybody was running from you. You remember now, don't you?
Whenever someone says a big demon creature, I usually have some idea because
no. It wasn't that one. It wasn't that one. It was something else because I remember we talked about it. It was a different thing. But yeah, it was in the city. It was during the zombie horde attack thing, and this was an additional horror that came at us.
I don't know, maybe I came up with a special horde just to kill off your character. It seems like I have
You might have. I know you almost killed a couple of the other PCs.
I failed. Well, I've been kind of lenient since
I failed.
My early days when I was GM.
You're growing lenient in your old age.
When I first got out of the service, and I'm telling this, I think Michael might know the story, but I'll tell the story for the audience, and maybe Michael hasn't heard it. I'm not sure. When I first got out of the service, our friend Matthew Bannock pulled me in, and I started running a vampire campaign, which lasted for a pretty long time. And in my own version of the city of Milwaukee, as people know, when I use other people's worlds, they are never the same. I keep enough to confuse people who cheat and use the books, and then I make them pay for it later. And but I was used to game mastering for fellow cavalry scouts, and so typically combat was very intensive on the GM in those scenarios because you'd have all of the same typical.
They wanted strategy, I assume. They wanted to really lay out.
Well, if you didn't, I mean, they would unintentionally lay out your encounters for them. It's like you'd have all of the same types of characters you'd have in any other game you have with all of the goofy. We're all individuals. We're all on our own, and then it's easy to pick them apart and kill them. But when the combat happens, the training kicks in and they just plow through it like it's an engagement. A target just popped up. It's going to fall down. So when I got out and I started game mastering Vampire, I think the first game I ran, everyone loved it. And I think I killed every player.
Not surprised.
And for me,
I had
that listed in my book as a simple engagement. And that's the day I realized that once I'm back in the civilian world, I probably shouldn't label combat with characters that are simple engagements, because they're maybe not as simple for people who don't have combat reactions in combat, where they have actual, probably fitting reactions for their characters sometimes.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, if you have all these players who were actually, combat oriented, were their characters appropriately, because that would have been, at that point, I would call that bad gaming. I would call that metagaming.
You could call it metagaming, but the problem would be is all the same characters, like the goofy guy who never wants to be around anyone else. He's actually that same guy in your unit. So there is some truth that sometimes people like that can turn into tremendous combatants when necessary. So sometimes when you think it might not make sense for a character, once they've been trained in the army, it has. And it's hard to get that out of an army guy. So
fair enough. The thing that I always fall back on and that I think is funny is a lot of GMs will, and if you are a GM, I do recommend this. Like I do agree with it. I think it's a good idea. Would keep a couple of characters on the side, like their favorite NPCs who are just like super awesome, to save the PCs from doing poorly. Like if he or she really wanted the players to succeed and they were really failing poorly, they'd send in their really awesome NPCs to pull them out of the fire. And a lot of the GMs that I played with had that. I had another friend of mine who had characters just in case you pissed him off. And I believe you also had characters like this, but
I had a song, and that usually meant that you were going to die.
Getting back to music as inspiration.
Exactly. If you heard "This Is Not an Exit at My Table," especially when, like, in Vampire, it made sense because it's like sort of modern music, but I didn't, really use stuff like that for fantasy. But I'd still pull that song out, and any of my Vampire players especially would just like drop into order. My pure fantasy players didn't get the joke for years.
See, I think it's funny that you started that because in the campaign that Jim and I did in New York, he did the same thing. So obviously he took that from you. So he would play the very same thing. And that song, like for a long time, I had like PTSD from it. Like that song would come on and I would immediately think, oh, bad things are about to happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, Jim was one of my Vampire players. I believe he died that day. And
oh, you shouldn't be laughing at the way you say that. Jim died that day.
I know. It doesn't sound good when you say it that way, but yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, and I used a lot of music very intentionally when I played Vampire to try and set, like, if you walk into a bar, if the bar was the most important thing, you heard that music. Certain NPCs had songs, and whichever thing was sort of the most important thing in the scene was the song, and it was good in a way because it kind of helped cue the players that there was. Oh my goodness! Like I said,
it gave them an environment. It gave them some ambiance.
And that song was more warning players that the players aren't playing up to their character potential right now, and they might want to rethink what they're doing.
Now, I feel like everything that you've been saying is a poignant thing for me to keep in mind because I feel like now I definitely need to make sure that Emil the Wine Steward plays up to potential this evening.
Well, yeah.
So,
because I don't have a copyright to that song, so I'd have to sing it to you as well, and that would be even more.
No, it's not. Let's just skip that. Oh, yeah, we'll skip that. We'll skip that part. So for those of you who haven't been paying attention, shame on you. For those of you that have, probably don't need the reminders, but I'll give them to you anyway. Emil is the wine steward. I am playing the character of Emil. Mary and Ravens own the local bar and supply house. They have unfortunately been murdered.
Not all of them.
Ritualistically slaughtered, the wife and their poor dear child.
Yes.
Ravens is a bloody mess downstairs in the bar, who Emil has run into the bar to find out what's wrong. Is he okay? Like he basically stumbled out the front door and collapsed. I presume he was bleeding out. I guess he's still alive, as Jeff just confirmed. So I think it's me and Thomas I know it's a guard. I believe it's Thomas. You'd have to. Yes. Okay, so
we know it's not Hamilton.
I know it's not Hamilton. So Emil and Thomas have run to the aid of Ravens. We're in town, and other events that are going on are some weirdness at the goat shepherds outside of town. We have procured some wine that is waiting for us at the goat shepherds outside of town. So we're actually on our way there when we discovered Ravens in trouble. There's also a missing council member from town. Nortz, and the Duke is about to arrive. So all kinds of madness going on.
And for those of you who don't understand, the Duke is the owner of the castle, and he's a very gracious and loving man. Actually, he is. He's a very nice lord. His peasants are very fond of him. But he's coming, and all of the wine Michael has lost or had all of the wine destroyed.
I've lost nothing. Emil has had a bad day.
Yes.
Michael takes great care of his wine.
That was already gone.
Yeah, well, when there's any in the house. Right now, there's none in the house.
Yeah. So, so Yoha, the chief steward of the castle, which in the day would have been called a skintual, for those of you who care.
A what?
A skintual.
Skintual?
Yeah.
Never heard that word.
It's like a peasant who's in charge of the castle. And that was a skintual. It's probably pronounced poorly because I'm from Indiana. A skintual
I would just chalk it up to being American.
Indiana, we have a special level of that. At least I blame Indiana for that. So it's not my fault.
Enough.
It's society. Right, off the rest of them. Okay.
I love the people, Paul.
Yeah. All right. So where we pick up, I believe, like I said, it wasn't much of a cliffhanger. It's just sort of, and you have. It's like,
what do you mean it wasn't much of a cliffhanger? Of course it was. One of my close friends was a bloody mess, and his family was just slaughtered. And then you're like, okay, all for next episode. It was a huge cliffhanger.
Yeah, but it was only like 10 episodes ago. It's only like a month and a half.
Yeah, it was like 10 episodes ago.
And the list to the prior episodes for this will all be in there too. A couple are named Enter the Wine Steward, I believe. And
Enter the Whiny Bard Drinking Singing Bardy Steward, I think, was one.
And Enter the Drunken Bard Steward Wine Guy was another one. And Wine Dine and...
oh, that's right. Wine Dine. Was it Wine Dine and Stewart Time or something like that? It was something like that.
Speaking of funny things, my wife and I were looking at download statistics yesterday for the two shows, and she happened to notice the one, and I forget the exact title of it, but it was like the Tao of the art of the chicken soup of the combat storytelling or something like that.
I was just thinking about that episode yesterday. Yeah. I was going to say we should do another episode that's less combat related or fight related or what have you.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that. We should actually probably get to story.
All right, let's do it. Look, I'm waiting on you. You're the GM here. Let's go.
Listen, I was waiting for your reaction as a character. It's only Bennington.
Here's my reaction.
Okay.
Oh
can I get up and kill you? No.
Well, great. Thanks for tuning in. Can we get the world builder topic of the world builder task of the day?
Gee, I thought the game master was dragging out that intro. All right. So you walk in, and like I said, there are ruins etched all over the room. Not really etched, but more smudged. Symbols that you recognize. Some of the ruins you recognize. Some of the symbols you don't recognize. You probably feel sick to your stomach about now.
Is this inside the bedroom upstairs, or is this downstairs in the bar?
Upstairs in the bedroom.
Okay. I do believe I had retreated and gone back downstairs and told Thomas what the mess that is upstairs. Rachel and Mary slaughtered. I know I did that. So I'm downstairs in the bar with a sickened stomach. Set.
You probably would, I'd imagine, go outside first. Probably to intake air.
Gotcha. Fine. I go outside and take in air because that's what the GM wants me to do.
It would probably be the more normal reaction to do as well, too.
Okay. Do I vomit?
Yes, because you're not helping. You don't help it. No. You start vomiting across the street. And,
like it actually goes all the way across the street.
Well, all the way to...
I don't think we need to get into the detail of how far my vomit travels. Oh my gosh.
And shortly thereafter, Thomas comes back outside. And he's like, I'm going to go with you now. We need to get the wine. We don't have time to deal with this.
What about Ravens? Is he going to die? I mean, what in God's name is going on here?
I don't know. And I'm a guard at the castle, and it's not my place.
What do you mean it's not your place? Not your place to keep these people safe?
Aren't they in the castle?
Thomas, we can't just leave him like this. We have to at least tell someone next door.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to the neighboring shop, house, whatever is there.
Yep.
And since it is a one-block town, basically, it's very small, I assume I know who lives there, especially if they're right next door to Ravens.
It is the Magic Store with everyone's favorite person, whom you know as Mr. Murples.
Mr. Murples. I forgot that name, and I don't have it written down in my notes, but I do remember that name. Okay. Go inside. Is it... We're like late afternoon, early evening, I think.
Yep. You go inside. He's not at. There's there's a desk only like a couple steps into the office.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the desk, you can see all kinds of herbs, remedies that sit behind there. There's an open door sort of behind the desk area, and the light's on, and he's back there. He's typically a reader.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Murples.
Yes?
Mr. Murples, it's Emil from the castle, the wine steward. I'm with one of the guards. We have to step outside of town to take care of an important matter, but I wanted to let you know and see if you could help that Raven has been hurt next door.
Hold on 1 second. Let me put my book down. I'll be out there in a second. You hear book it closed and neatly put back into a shelf. It sounds like he might be wiping off the table a little bit, picking up a plate, walking over, setting down a plate, and then he walks around and goes, may I help you? Do you need some sort of ointment or herb?
I don't, but Raven's next door has been very seriously injured, and his wife and daughter have been killed. I hate to drop this on you, but this Thomas and I have to leave. We just discovered it next door, and if you can offer some assistance or go to the castle and tell them what's going on, I would be so appreciative of it. But we have to leave.
Oh, he seems to just be kind of staring at you with his mouth dropped down, kind of like. It's like you said something and it's not quite registering within it. And he's normally a very smart guy, but it's not quite.
Mr. Murples, do you understand what I'm telling you?
People have died next door?
Yes. Been killed. Marion, poor Mary and Rachel. But Thomas and I must leave. We can't stay here to discuss this. I just wanted someone else to know because we just discovered it, but we have to go.
What am I supposed to do?
If you can offer some healing aid to Ravens before he passes, I'd be greatly appreciated. I would appreciate it. I'm sure he would appreciate it.
I can do that.
Okay.
And he starts going over and calmly.
I just turn and start walking with Thomas because we don't have time. I mean, I feel horrible. Like, you take note. I feel horrible about doing that, but I also don't want to be a bad wine steward, and clearly things are amiss.
I don't know. It's been a pretty normal day.
Oh, yeah. Really? Totally normal.
Okay. So you guys walk out the side gate of the town, and shop-wise, this is about a one-shop town, but there is a lot more housing than that. There are probably several hundred families who live here. Well... 100 to 200 families.
That many?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of them are most of them are engaged in agriculture, so they go out and act as laborers and stuff like that. But most of the people live in the actual town around here.
So you've got like so many farms, and they all work those said farms, and thus that's how they, get by.
That's how they get by. Or they're carpenters, but most of them works at the farms, so they go out there.
Fair enough.
Because that is definitely the driver of the agriculture in the area. Or definitely the driver of the agriculture. And you guys walk out and down the little sort of farm trail, and you see the house, and you see the farmer sitting there. He appears to be drinking a mug of ale.
Mm-hmm. I forget the farmer's name. I swear I had his name written down here somewhere. Not Marion. Adelburn the goat herder.
Adelburn, that's correct.
Adelburn. Okay. So I see our wagon, I assume, with the wine and everything?
Yeah.
And everything was... Oh, you know what? We had to bring horses. So I assume that we have horses in tow. That was our big point of... Well,
actually, yeah, Thomas is bringing up the horses. You're going to hitch them up and take the wagon back, because you realized sort of afterwards, like, this guy was like just kind of pulling this big wagon full of wine.
Another odd thing that occurred that day.
Well, and the odd thing that you didn't notice it too, because your character, that was not Mike's character failing at something. That was just Mike's character more so not recognizing it.
I assume that it was magic involved.
Oh,
that made magic. That me, the player, is assuming that magic was obfuscating his observation.
Yeah, you, the character, might think whatever. I don't know.
Okay, so Adelburn, no one's touched the wagon, right?
Nope.
Thank you so much for watching it. I appreciate it, and I'll definitely make it a point to bring you some ale on my next trip out here.
I won't forget.
You won't have to.
And if you ever get married, I get an invitation.
I'll make it a point. And so we hook up the horses.
You hook up the horses, and you slowly start bringing them back into town.
I want to test the wine on the way just to make sure everything's still on the up and up.
Roll your health. No.
There's no rolling in this system. That was funny, though.
Yeah. A little GURPS joke for people who've not played.
Well, a little role playing. I mean, that's almost any system.
Well, it's obvious, but because it's helping with GURPS. Okay.
Which, if you guys don't use GURPS, you should definitely look into it. Love GURPS. It's one of my favorite systems.
Save versus nuclear poison would have been the
What?
Okay, you go back in. The guard kind of doesn't really pay attention to you guys.
No. You tell me what the wine's like. Don't you skip over that.
The wine is delicious.
Seems fine.
No. It seems delicious. It's a wonderful wine.
All right. Good deal.
Not the best wine you've had, but in that range of quality.
Okay. I seem to remember it being amazing.
Yes. Okay. Well, I checked the same barrel. You didn't say you checked the same barrel.
I will let you get away with that. I didn't say that, and I won't check every barrel.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, it's very good wine.
Actually, no, because his paranoia is kicking up a little bit. I can absolutely justify checking every barrel.
But that's why I assumed you checked a different barrel than the first one you checked.
Well, I'm telling you now, begin to check the other barrels.
You've noticed not only is it some are amazing, some are very nearly amazing, and you notice each glass you have, they all seem to taste better.
Cool. Am I getting... I'm not drinking full glasses here, so I'm not getting hammered. Like, I don't need another glass to knock it back.
This is good.
You guys got the wine. This is like barrels. Where's the Duke?
Hail the Duke, baby. Okay. So as you guys are coming down and you turn down the sort of the Wall Street, as it's called, very cleverly, these Bedrakim have very clever naming practices, which is the road for the players that runs alongside the castle on one side and has a strip of shops in front of the castle gate on the other side. And
okay.
As you go down here, you move around, and you notice that there's actually a line of horses essentially congregated at the gate, and it appears to be the Duke's guard.
Like advanced guard, I hope, or like the Duke has arrived.
This is a much larger party than Sir Thimerick's.
Well, I thought when Sir Thimerick arrived, it was just him. Was it a multitude?
If you remember just him, we'll say just him.
Okay, but it's so suffice it to say, this is the Duke. They have arrived.
Oh, this is definitely the Duke's party.
Okay, gotcha.
No wagons, but there's several horse. You'd say probably you can see about 10, and you can see the back end of at least one more, but 10 more could comfortably fit in the courtyard.
Okay.
So the Duke is probably actually one of those, but you would assume by the number of men on the outside who are like, looks like waiting to get in, that it's probably the Duke's men.
So they haven't gone inside yet?
Some of them have, you would guess, and some of them have not. It appears to be a larger party than normal.
Okay. I assume the one entrance, like there's not like this is where we bring the service stuff. I assume there's only one entrance in.
Yes. There's the castle gate. Yeah.
Fair enough. So I guess we're in line. Like I can't.
Yeah, you can't get around that part. Once you get into the courtyard, there are multiple entrances, but until you get in there, there's one.
Fair enough.
And as you're sitting there, all of a sudden, you notice Sir Thimerick and the Duke and another very nobly man walking.
A nobly man?
Nobly man come walking on out.
Okay.
And
it's not a nobly man that I recognize.
It is not a nobly man you recognize, but I mean, he's probably the Duke's age, maybe a little bit older. You're guessing it's a vassal because you don't recognize him. You don't recognize his heraldry either. So he's not been here with the Duke.
When you say heraldry, I assume you're referring to like sigils and flags.
Think of sort of like the big crest the English would have on the, but much less developed. So you can usually kind of tell what family, what clan.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know this one, so it's probably one of the Duke's vassals who just doesn't come here. But this isn't his main haunt, so it's probably one of the more powerful vassals.
Okay, so I guess my options here are either wait in the wagon or go inside and go talk to Yoha, but my thought is if the Duke has arrived, Yoha probably has his hands full right this second. So I'm choosing just to be patient, stay with the wine for security purposes, and I'll just wait.
The Duke actually looks at you and goes, Yoha.
I'm sorry?
He looks at you and speaks your name, Yoha.
My name is not Yoha, so... Does he speak my name or does he call me Yoha? He speaks your name. Okay.
I don't know.
Yoha, Emil.
Emil, thank you. I don't know.
Okay, so he looks at me.
Oh, Yoha's the other. Geez. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. No problem. But my point is that the Duke calls me by the correct name.
Yes, and points at you and is walking at you.
What do I call him? How do I address him? My Duke, my liege, my sir,
my lord, or
my lord,
or Duke Asner is the two names he typically goes by.
Got you. Yes, my lord.
I've been informed a little bit about what is going on by Yoha, and I am told you possibly have more information.
I'm not sure what I should or shouldn't tell you about the day. What would be important to you? What wouldn't? We've procured more wine.
Not worried so much about the wine now. I've heard there's been some issues with the wine. Some oddities have been going on. I'm more concerned at this point with what happened across the street.
Is he referring to...
He's pointing towards the inn.
I don't know what happened. As Thomas and I were on our way to making our way to get the replacement wine, Ravens, the owner, stumbled out the front door covered in blood. And when I went inside to find out if his family was all right, I discovered his wife and child murdered. Ritualistically, if you ask me, there was runic signs all over the walls.
Excellent.
I hardly think so, sir.
I meant the report.
I thought that was an appropriate response.
Yes, you can think whatever. Okay.
That was Michael talking, not him. Like he did. I thought that appropriate response, sir.
I didn't. I assumed the last part was Michael.
Gotcha.
Okay. Leave the wine here. I want to know what happened in this place. I want you to walk me through and show me everything that happened here.
Is he referring to the castle, or is he still pointing at the inn?
He's pointing at the inn.
Well, come, and I lead the way out to the inn.
Okay.
My day, and I'm going to speak as we walk, because I assume I can get all this out by the time we cross over. Yeah. My day started this morning by checking the stores in the castle upon hearing that you were arriving today.
Mm-hmm.
And I discovered that some of our wine was missing, and what little wine was still left was sour. And this is not how I keep the wine. This was not a part of neglect. This was odd. So then I came into the town to get more wine, and I store wine at multiple places within the town for such occasions, including at Ravens. He's my supplier. He's where everything comes into town. So and I assume that I'm just, for time's sake, I assume that we're nearing, and I can walk them around back.
Yeah.
So if you'll come back here, this is where his extra stores are kept, down in this cellar, and it's locked. Is it still locked? I mean, I don't remember if it ever got locked again.
No, it is not locked.
Okay. It was locked this morning. Mary gave me permission to open it because Ravens wasn't around. Mm-hmm. So I opened it, and as I do that, I open the stores. We walk down. Is it torch lit, or do I have to light a torch and go through all that rigmarole?
You have to light a torch. Yep.
Okay. So light a torch.
Yep. You go down into the small, cool storeroom underneath the inn / tavern / storage house. And this is where you found him the first time.
This morning, the storeroom was locked, as I said, and Ravens was down here. Like, I don't know how he would have gotten in here and locked unless someone put him down here. He was unconscious. So, of course, I was concerned. I went and got help. I told his wife. One of the elders was, two of the elders were in the tavern upstairs, so they came to help as well. And because I still needed to get wine, I checked the stores that were kept here, and they normally point over to where they normally are. This is where I kept, I don't know what I had, a couple of barrels? What's fair?
Yeah,
a couple of casks?
A couple of casks of very fine wine.
I had 2 casks of very fine wine sitting right in here, and it's not something that would have been sold. This is, Ravens keeps that here for me, for you. And it was gone.
And there's never been issues with Ravens before?
Never. Solid as a rock. The man's very reliable. So I left him in the trusting care of 2 of the town elders and his wife, and then proceeded to try to get more wine. Michael doesn't quite remember. Is that when I went to find out if there was a caravan and got lucky, or is and I happened to see that guy? Like, I don't remember exactly the events, how they occurred.
Yeah. So I'll just sum up quickly, real quick. You went and double checked, the house wine as well. And that was also all destroyed. Then you went out to luckily found this, caravan, and then went back.
Okay. So, however the events occurred, I relay that to the Duke.
All right. Thank you. Go back. Tell Yoha I want everyone out in the courtyard, all of the servants. Give me a moment here, and we'll meet you back there.
My Duke, the oddest thing that I witnessed today was when I was able to find a man to buy wine from, we went to the what did I write down here? The goat herder? The goat herder. We went to Adelburn's, the goat herder, outside of the wall, and the man who sold us the wine wanted a goat as part of the trade, and he took his goat, which he had, and a goat of Adelburn's that would then became his, and using magic, he annihilated the two of them in front of me, and then acted as though it was casual and nothing, and walked away.
And okay, and you said that was Adelburn, correct?
That was at Adelburn's, correct?
Okay.
I've never seen anything like it.
Anything else odd that you would like to point out now?
Some little things.
Anything exceptionally odd that you think Yoha might have forgot to tell us?
I don't remember. Michael doesn't remember if Emil told Yoha that he was suspicious somebody may have been in his room because he noticed small little things. I don't remember. Did I tell him that?
I believe so.
Okay, so he probably would have relayed that to the Duke then.
Yes, he has a very good memory for oddities.
Yeah, I can't remember if there's anything else that he should share. So I'm going to say no. I believe that's it. Although there was a man named Eric looking for the man who sold the wine to us.
What did Eric look like? Red or rose?
Describe Eric the Bard. And is it? I'm assuming Michael is assuming that when I say sold it to us, that is an appropriate way to say it, or should I say sold it to you because it's actually his money that's buying the wine, procuring? Okay, it doesn't matter. Fine, fair enough.
It's one of those where there might be a thing, but Jeffrey doesn't care.
Well, I was going to say I don't want to get lost in the minutia, but him being likable.
Yes, and being likable.
I want him
likable right now.
No, I'm not using likable right now. It's one of my
being a real jerk.
One of the only two resources I have left at my disposal. But I may have the opportunity to recharge the other two.
I remember you always had the opportunity to fish at any point, so
right.
You just have to be able to work that into the conversation. And fishing, for the people who don't remember, is the ability for him to extract his skill back active that he's used up in. What skill is currently used? I forget.
So right now, resourceful and intelligent have been used, and I have likable and organized at my disposal. So in the descriptors system, when you start off, I've got 4 words that I can use as a player to automatically ensure success unless the GM wants to veto my usage of that. But to do so, I have to use the word in a sentence and describe what I'm doing. And if I want to fish to subsequently recharge that skill, I also have to use the word in a sentence. Thus, Descriptors by Matthew Bannock.
Jerk. All right.
I know you're referring to me and not Matthew.
I would never talk about Matthew that way. I love
Matthew is not a jerk.
Matthew's a wonderful person, unlike you.
Yeah, I think you're calling me a jerk because I just did such a great job describing Matt's game, and you could never do it as well.
Describing descriptors?
I describe descriptors. Descriptors.
That should be on your resume. Okay.
Next time I need to fill out an application, I'll try to remember that under special skills.
Okay. All right. So I'm assuming you listen to the Duke and go back and towards.
Yeah, I do what he says. Of course. Loyal servant.
So you go and you have the servant skill that all servants have.
Trying to be resourceful on the way, I will pay close attention to what any of his guards or his caravan might be talking about. I'm cautiously eavesdropping. Not like, being overt, but I'm just keeping my ears open, resourcefully looking for information that might help me in this venture.
You do notice 2 very important things. There seems to be a lot more men. You can get your thing back.
Sweet. Recharged, resourceful.
You do notice, or you start to take in, there are actually twice as many guards as you would expect. And some of the guards have the Nobly dudes, coat of arms.
Nobly dudes. I love your word.
But yes, they have his coat of arms, and only some of them have the Duke's coat of arms. So it's like,
are there fewer men with the Duke's coats?
No, it's about the same number of his, but there's a large sort of guard with this other guy as well too, which is unusual. Normally, when you come with the Duke, you travel with his men. You maybe have a man or two, but besides servants at the most. He has a rather large number of guards here for a visitor with the Duke.
So that seems odd to me.
Yes.
But I assume that I wouldn't have a great deal of knowledge of the Duke's business, though.
That's a Nobly way.
Nobly way.
Yeah, because this is not typically a place where he conducts a lot of his courtly business either. When he comes here, it's usually to have and entertain people. And a lot of times it's en route to Klein Forest, to go when they're on the route to the city, or waiting to pick someone up who's coming from the city to his lands. This is usually that spot. It's usually more of a festivity kind of spot than anything else.
I thought we were not as conveniently located to be festivity.
But it's like a change of pace kind of thing. He comes there. He likes to hunt outside in the grounds around here.
That makes sense.
So that's why he likes to come up here. There's a nice hill outside of town called Thor's Hill, which he likes to go to hunt.
Lovely, Verge. Okay, so I am making my way back inside, and I definitely want to talk to Yoha if available.
Yeah, and you have this resourceful I'm a servant skill of squeezing between the Nobly guards, because they're all, obviously, these are not men at arms, these are all lower lords.
Armored up, I assume? Are they wearing like plate mail or chainmail?
No, way too early. Most of them have leather, some of them have some metal pieces mixed in too.
Mm-hmm. Is that pretty much reserved for like war? Like you'd only strap on the plate mail if you were going to war?
This is way too early in the time frame for plate mail. There will be some metal plates.
So just tech level, it's too early for plate mail?
Tech level, it's a little too early for plate mail. That comes much later. Right now, your expensive lords will own very good mail, and a lot of the poorer knights will only have leather with they will have metal plates bound into the leather, but not nearly as good as the chain even. But it does pretty good against poking weapons. And it's +2 versus poke. All right.
I'll try not to poke them.
I slash. Aha! Thank you for giving their weakness away. I kill all of the guard. Resourcefully.
So resourceful I did it without a weapon.
Okay, you walk in. There is a servant that you do not know talking to Yoha right now.
I'm going to appropriately sidle up, so maybe just outside the conversation, allow my presence to be known without being intrusive.
Oh, as you're walking in, he's talking to Yoha. It's this sort of weaselly-looking, greasy kind of man.
So kind of like a Jeff sort of character,
but really like kind of like skinny. So not like Jeff. An unfat Jeff with probably a little balding on top as well. But the hair that's there is kind of thick on the sides and kind of greasy, sort of like Danny DeVito from Taxi.
Gotcha. Okay.
He's kind of winking at you. No, not really. You feel like he's like watching you the whole time, though, as you're walking up.
Okay.
And smiling. Inappropriately.
Oh, lovely.
Not sexually, but like just creepily.
Like creepily, yeah. Fair enough.
Unnobly.
Well, I was trying to walk up in a fashion where I was in Yoha's line of vision and not necessarily this guy's, but depending on how they're facing, I realize that may not be possible.
They're standing side to side, and this guy is, you feel like watching you and looking for you.
Fair enough.
And as soon as you start coming up, he just sort of bows and backs away. Bows to you, which is also kind of weird.
Yeah, that's weird for someone to bow at emo. Okay, fair enough. Give him an appropriate, a nice little nod, and then to Yoha. I've returned with the wine.
Yes, I know that.
The Duke asked me to come into town. He's doing this literally, like gesturing over his shoulder, to tell him about the events of the day.
Going to the town?
Well, he heard.
He said the courtyard. He said the courtyard. That's Jeffrey telling player. He told you to tell them to go out to the courtyard.
Yes, but didn't the Duke? The Duke went right over to went to Ravens with me, so it wasn't the courtyard. We went into town.
I misunderstand what you're saying right now. Continue.
Okay, so Yoha understands what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yes.
Zuko over there is like, yes.
Well, Ravens was attacked, and his wife and daughter were murdered.
He just kind of raises his hands up. And you decided you could have told me this already. I could have told the Duke this. We should have been doing this.
When I left here to go get the wine, as we were leaving, Thomas and I saw Ravens collapse outside his door. So we went to his aid, discovered his family had been killed. Then from there, we went to get the wine. And upon returning, the Duke grabbed me and we began talking. I didn't have the opportunity to see you. I saw the Duke first, and he told me to come with him, and thus I went.
Okay. Anything else that you haven't told me
yet? No. I mean, we told what's the guy's name? Muggles, the magic guy.
Merples.
Merple. I gotta write that down because I keep forgetting his name. Mr. Merples. And what is it? What are we calling him?
Mr. Merples.
No, not his name, his title, he's a magic man, he's an herbalist, magician, wizard.
He is the town magician.
Town magician. Only that Thomas and I told Mr. Merples what happened at Ravens before we went to get the wine, on the off chance that he might be able to help him.
Mr. Merples. Yes, very good. Okay. And then you probably tell them that they're supposed to get all the servants out into the courtyard.
Oh, did the
Duke told you?
The Duke told me to. Yeah. The Duke would like all of the servants out to be assembled in the courtyard.
You go.
Okay.
I guess you go to. You kind of points towards the guy at the corner. When he does that, you kind of think for a second the guy looks like he's talking to himself, and then he just kind of like looks like, oh, yes, and then he goes. And then
this is the sketchy dude?
The sketchy dude, we'll call it. The sketchy, greasy dude. The unnobly one.
Nobly. How do I spell nobly?
I have no idea.
Unnobly, sketchy.
Greasy dude. Okay.
Sketchy, greasy dude. Creepy grinner.
He's like, I will fetch the rest of them. You wait in the courtyard with that one, and we will wait for the Duke. So you go out into the...
I would like to know, he might not take note of this unless was Vilisandra, I think was her name. I'm trying to find it on my list, but I can't find it. Was she particularly attractive or just kind of nondescript? I don't remember.
She was attractive and sort of the slightly overweight, like motherly kind of attractiveness. I mean, not like, you know what I'm saying? It's like not.
She's not unattractive, but she's not giving anybody whiplash either.
Yeah. If she's had a kid, it's probably she's probably had her last child at this point. She's a bit elderly.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, I was just trying to think because this guy's single. I'm wondering if he would have kept his eyes open for her to see, if she's been assembled. I still want him to notice whether or not she's present, just because she's new.
Not out here, but when you get sort of waved off, the first place that Yoha goes is back towards the kitchen. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, but I'm not. I'm assembling, right? I'm not going to the kitchen.
Yes. You do not see her come out.
Fair enough. Well, I am assembling. I have assembled.
Okay.
I'm standing and assemble.
And then slowly, there's probably about 10 castle servants that work here normally. Most of them are scoundrels. Can't be trusted around the line.
What? Seriously?
Yeah, they're
You don't think Yoha would have them whip crack into shape?
Oh yes, they do their jobs efficiently.
But you can't trust them.
But you can't trust them. You have to always watch them. That's what Yoha tells you.
Interesting. Oh, okay. This is Yoha's perspective, not necessarily the truth.
Well, it all depends on perspective.
Well, you tell me. Based on my experience with these people, have I known them to be?
You would think they're very effective, very competent at their jobs.
Mm-hmm. Are they kind? Are they nice people?
You have various relationships with each of them. Some you're friendly with. Others, there are cliques within the servant pool.
Even though there's only like 10?
There's only 10. There's a couple here, a couple there that are friendly, and Yoha's sort of above everyone, and he's his own clique.
He is his own clique.
He is his own clique.
I like that description. It's appropriate.
No matter what anyone does, everyone's always nice to the cook.
Hey, that's wise. Yeah. I told you that when I worked in a high-end restaurant, like that was job one. Like when I was a bartender, and right after I got hired, job one was getting in good with the cooks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It served me well to do that.
Yeah. You see the courtyard. Slowly everyone comes out. The last two you see come out through the side entrance into the stable is Yoha and what is her name? B something?
Villasandra. Her name sounds like villain.
That's how you could always tell.
Yeah, can't trust someone with a name like that.
No, villain.
Well, says me, the player. The character has. Yeah. What's your name? Evelyn. I.e., He-Man. What's your name? Assassin. He kills a lot. And what do you do? Chef. New chef.
I don't think I like this new serving crew.
What do you do? I'm the cupbearer. And your name? Stabby Stabber. Stabby McStab-a-lot.
Oh, Villasandra, what does that mean? Slits her father's throat. I didn't know that.
I'm not familiar with that language. Yeah. I didn't know that. So that's pretty. From your mother's side.
Okay. So finally they come out, and there's a lot of waiting. Yoha kind of walks over next to you and sort of shakes because you guys are sort of near the front of the peasantry cohort. The cook kind of falls in the back. That's where they go.
I mean, I've just come back from an errand. Should I change?
No.
Okay.
We'll wait here for the Duke. So it doesn't have to wait.
That's Mike asking Jeff, but it's totally fine that he asks. That's fine. I didn't know if he would know you should go put on because I have an outfit.
When the Duke says meet in the courtyard and wait for him,
that's what I
wait.
That's what
it could be tomorrow, but you'll wait.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Okay. Unless you were naked, like in bed, and then you would put clothes on to go outside.
Yes, of course. Yes. Go away outside. Sir, yes, sir. No. Put something on. No one wants to see that.
Man's out of tension. Okay.
You caught me in the morning.
Okay. So you wait, and the Duke comes back, and he walks up on the stair, him, Sir Themric, and Sir Nobly Dude. And
Sir Nobly Dude.
Essentially, he's like, a lot has gone on here today. I'd like to introduce everyone to Sir Tarek. Due to some changes coming in the future, this castle will be used to train young squires, to prepare them for combat. That will be the dedication of this castle. I am placing Sir Tarek in charge. I was going to wait until after this was dealt with, but he felt it's his place to deal with it since it is now his lands. I will leave Sir Tarek to deal with this. And due to what's gone on, there will be no feast tonight. Me and my men will be going. Have a nice day. He doesn't say that last.
He doesn't say that. Come on, all right. And I'm out.
Oh, he's out. He said that part, but not to have a nice day. That was a little flourish from the game master. Okay, and he literally walks down with Sir Thimeric, and Sir Tarek is standing up there, kind of looking around, and he mounts up, and they pull out and leave.
Not the new guy.
Not the new guy stays. The Duke literally just said...
Say his name. Say his name again.
Tarek.
Mm-hmm. And is he... he's not a Duke. He's just Sir Tarek?
Yes, that does not sort of give a denotion to his noble status. That just says that he is noble.
Okay.
He could be anywhere from unlanded knight to King Poobah, even though there's no king around, so he'd be a visitor. But he was just given these lands by the Duke.
Oh, we all know that kings are corrupt. We have princes.
That's right. So you could never trust a king.
That's why we have princes, because kings are corrupt.
Kings are horrible.
Can't trust kings. Princes, on the other hand, they are A-OK.
No. They write out, and he's like, Sir Tarek sort of raises his hand for a moment there's a lot of murmuring amongst many of the servants.
I would not be murmuring.
Murmur.
No, there'll be no murmuring from Emil. He is no. He is appropriate and professional.
So he's as stoic as Yoha right now?
Yes. It maybe even shooting glances at people like, hey, zip it.
Zip it! Okay. He looks over at you. No, he doesn't.
It goes like this.
Kill up, man!
It's just like a knife across the throat motion, like, kill that man.
Like, apparently this morning some strange activities have happened. I will be getting to the bottom of this personally. I want you to all clean up, go to bed, stay in the castle, and I'll deal with you when appropriate.
That's ominous. Come waterboarding us in the middle of the night.
And so, as is tradition, all of the servants return to the house and all go directly to the kitchen, desperately trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
Yeah, we've just had a change of the guard, so to speak. Shift of power. That's odd.
As everyone starts murmuring in the kitchen, Yoha raises his hand, is like, does not matter who the lord of the castle is. He might or might not keep any of us. We could all be fired.
I hadn't even considered that.
Or we could all be released. No, wait. I just said
that's kind of the same thing, no?
Yeah, no, I don't know where that came from.
That's fine. Permanent. I think released is a more appropriate word for it.
I say, well, you're all technically, if you work at a castle, you're freemen. You're not bound to the land. You could leave on your own as well if you wanted to. You get paid for your services.
Well, right, but a more friendly way to say you're fired is that you've been released of your duties.
He might determine to release us, or he might determine to keep us. I think he's probably not thinking about that, and it is far too early for anyone to be concerned about their jobs unless you kill the person across the street. Now, the Duke ordered us to bed. We went to bed, no food. And then he cuts some bread and goes off to his room.
What a cheap SOB! I can't say what I'm thinking. This show is PG. What a scumbag. He's like, here's a chance to save a few dollars. You know what? I bet you he's going to skim that from the Duke's budget, too. He's going to be like, we all ate, Sir Tarek. We ate that night and pocket the money for the cost of those meals.
Yeah. But it actually would not be uncommon for the servants to take some of the food with them if they so wish. So really, he wasn't being as much of a dick as it appeared. It's more like,
oh, so he's not saying you can't eat anything tonight. He's saying we're not having a formal meal. Just take it.
Because typically the servants would dine together. Basically,
well, whatever's appropriate. So if it's appropriate for me to grab a little munchie, then grab a little something.
You grab a little munchie.
Yeah. All right. So grab a little something. Retire to my room. He said, clean yourselves up and go to bed. So I assume that I don't have to put on my good clothing. No. I'm actually going to bed.
Yeah, and which would support what the Duke said, which is you won't be needed tonight. Screw off. All
right. Well, I do as told. Little munchy and go to bed. I'm gonna while laying in bed, I'm gonna be thinking about the day's events, and being an intelligent individual as I am, I'm gonna recount the things that have occurred, and I'm also gonna consider the power structure. I mean, we have a Duke who has passed the maybe not ownership of the castle, but certainly the responsibility of what's occurring there. And it seems weird to me that we've never heard of this guy. He's got different sigils, and now he is taking control of the castle. So being intelligent, I'm trying to deduce how this would have occurred.
You're guessing this is probably a vassal of the Duke, whom has been given the lands.
I'm fishing in case you hadn't picked up on it.
Oh, I see.
That was me fishing to recharge my intelligence.
Okay, I'll let you recharge your intelligence.
Huzzah! I am now fully recharged on all of my descriptors.
I have all of your intellect intact when I kill you. Right, Kenny?
Lovely. Who have you got there?
Ra. Producer Ra is asleep on the desk next to me right now. Okay.
And I'm coming to you today from the Simon Says Studios. Because Simon is the name of one of my cats, and he's kicking around here somewhere.
And then you dutifully fall asleep?
Yes. As long as I'm going to wake up.
Yes, you will wake up. Okay.
Huzzah! Still alive. You live to breathe another day.
You actually get woken up early in the morning with the leathery clad hand pushing you down and up in the bed. Sort of a waking motion.
Yes, I assume I'll be quite shocked by this because I'm not usually woken by anybody.
No, not unless, and it's not usually leather clad hands. And you,
not unless I've paid for it in gold the day before.
Well, this was cheap. A freebie?
Oh, Gracie, how are you? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I assume that's a guard of some sort, or
it's actually one of the knights of the new the new
Sir
leader.
Tarek. One of Sir Tarek's men.
Sir Tarek's men, yes. He's like, get up, go upstairs. The Count wants to talk to you.
He's Count. I don't say that. That's me thinking.
Yeah.
So I'm going to write Sir and then / Count. Okay, I'm going to put on the good outfit, get myself neat and prim, and go upstairs to see the Count.
Okay, you go up to the third floor, which is the owner of the castle's chambers.
Mm-hmm. And should I bring wine? Like, ask that guard. Should I bring wine for the Count?
No, he wants to talk to you.
Okay.
So you go up.
He wants to talk to you. Did you say stab? No one said stab.
You walk upstairs. You lightly enter the room. You probably knock as you do.
I was going to say, did I knock? Is the door open?
No.
Well, then I wouldn't just walk in. I would knock. I would just walk in.
Yes.
That's appropriate.
Yes. Especially to this room. This is sort of, it's an antechamber, but they call it the study because there's a desk and there's a few books in there. Not many. There's like 5.
Okay. But it's okay for me to walk in is the point.
Yes. As a servant, you would probably not go into the bedroom if that door was closed, because you're not like that's not your job.
Right.
But even if he summoned you, you would. If he told you to come to his bedside, you would walk there and you would knock lightly and enter a door. You would not wait.
Yeah, no, I would expect that. If summoned, of course. But I'm just saying I'm not going to. Right. I'm not. No, I'm still going to. I'm in the study. Do I see him? Is he in there?
No, he's in the study.
Fair enough.
He's sitting down at a bench over by, I call it a desk, but it's a table. But it's used as a desk.
Okay.
These are ancient times, Desk, is...
it's a loose term, so it's like a table.
It's a table that they write on. And sometimes eat at, but not usually. He's like, you are the wine steward. Tell me about yourself, quickly.
My name is Emil. I am the third generation wine steward. My father and my grandfather were the stewards before me. Just rattle off basic stuff about me, how long I've been doing it. What else do I even say? I'm not married. I don't know what other details would be.
It'd probably be more like about your job.
What's he? Well, I don't know. You should tell me about yourself. That's what I figured he was.
That's what I'm telling you. Because you probably would have not told that. You probably would have gone to job. You would not assume that this new noble gives it any care for you as a person at all.
Well, then just stick with the facts about my wine stewardship, which I don't. Michael doesn't know what else I should share.
Yeah.
Other than like
he would ask if he cares, and he won't. So
okay.
Okay. So let me know if I've heard good things about it, to be honest. The Duke said you were a competent and likable, intelligent, resourceful man.
Did he mention how organized I was?
Not particularly.
I didn't ask that. That was the player making a joke.
Now, here's a question for you. How much wine do you typically store in the castle? How much wine was lost yesterday?
Answer the question accurately. Michael doesn't remember how many casks, but I know all the casks we had.
You rattle it all up, and you rattle off all your stashes. The stashes in the Duke's room, or now the Count's room, I guess.
The bedroom,
and out in the place that you told me the other day.
So yeah, tell him about all the stashes and what have you.
So you've lost a lot of wine today.
It's not how I would see it, sir. The wine was stolen and ruined. It's not something that was. Your wording implies incompetence, which I disagree with, respectfully.
Okay. Give me a better word to use than incompetent, because it kind of looks incompetent. Oh, he says that.
No, I get that he says that.
One second. And for the people who are watching this or who are listening who can't see this, the Duke was staring straight at him the entire time like, you're full of crap.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna use my intelligence. I'm gonna burn my intelligence right here to ensure it to sound smart, respectful, and not like a smart ass jerk off that I am tempted
that
to
Michael
be.
Is, yes.
That Michael very, very much wants to be to this guy. Sir, removing wine from multiple stores inside the castle is not something that I could do unnoticed. It's not something that I would ever do. I've been here for how many years have I been here doing this? I've been doing this for like 20 years.
You've been the actual wine steward for probably about 20 years. You've been here longer because you were your father's son,
right?
Who had the job before you.
I've been the wine steward here for 20 years. I would have no reason to do such a thing. Not only that, the stores, the extra stores that I had in town were affected as well, removed, and some of the ones here in the castle were ruined. This was something someone did intentionally. For what reason, I don't know, but it wasn't due to neglect.
Okay. And for the audience out there,
He's not buying it.
the count kind of leans forward and is looking up at you. Now, if I understand this correctly, where are your bed chambers?
Did my intelligence have any effect on that delivery?
You gave what should have been a very persuasive argument.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just going to make sure that I mark off there that I used that. Okay. Describe where my bed chambers are. I believe they're actually part of the same room, right?
Yes. And he kind of looks back at you and goes, "Could you tell me where the wine barrels are? Where do you store the wine? The ones in the castle, not the ones outside."
They're in the same room.
Oh, as your bed chamber. Oh,
and
okay.
What are you trying to imply, sir? That I moved the wine from the same room and hid it in my bedroom, which is the same room?
Well, let me understand. You and I would assume Yoha are the only two who have access to the what do you call it, the Duke's private stash that you had downstairs?
Correct.
You were the person, and you and Yoha were the people who came up here and witnessed the wine from the Duke's chamber to be missing.
Correct.
You and, well, I guess Ravens didn't necessarily see the wine disappear, but it was you and Ravens in that place where the wine disappeared across the street, where his family was then murdered.
Correct.
You seem like quite an intelligent person, but you might see how someone might think it odd that all of the wine in your room where you sleep is taken and goes bad while you're asleep. The wine that you find missing, only you and Yoha see are missing. And the other wine, only you're the only one that says it's there. I talked to Mr. Merples, what's his fellow, the murderer next door, Robin, whatever his name is.
Ravens?
Yeah.
Murderer next door.
Yes. He was not injured. That was not his blood on him that you saw.
Ravens wouldn't have hurt his family.
Of course not.
I've known the man for however long. I've known him, 20, 30 years. He loved his wife. He loved his daughter. He would never harm them.
Intentionally is what you're saying. So you're going to put your word on to Ravens and say that you vouch for him. Are you willing to tell me right now that you vouch for Ravens? Was it Robbins? Ravens?
Ravens. Is it fair to say that I have known the man enough that I would vouch for him? From what we've developed in the story, I assume that I would be willing to vouch for him.
You, Ravens, Mary, and Sydney.
Sydney?
Sydney was the daughter.
Rachel was the daughter.
Rachel?
I think so. No, wait. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Rachel. You're right. You're correct. You know, Sydney is, you're correct. Rachel's the name of the daughter in my book.
Oh, okay. Yeah. As I said, I don't remember Rachel, but okay.
Who's also been murdered. Lots of murdering daughters.
Not a good day to be a daughter.
And her father was involved.
I'll put it to you this way.
I assume that they've been friends for years. At the very least,
they would feel like family to you.
Okay. Well,
you were not related. You were not romantically attracted to who he married. You would have married her if the opportunity presented because she's an attractive, intelligent woman. Mm-hmm. But
I did not covet my neighbor's wife.
You did not covet his wife. They actually genuinely loved each other, and the daughter was born out of love. I mean, Michael's character
then fine.
would not believe it.
Then yes,
under normal circumstances.
Yes, I vouch for the man. I've known him and his family for years.
Go down to the table and wait in the main hall.
Okay, so I do that.
You wait down there for about 2 hours.
Ugh.
You actually hear the guards downstairs in the wine cellar just tearing the crap out of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, that's the thing that I find is ridiculous is they're like, oh, so you've lost the wine. What did I do? Drink 80 gallons of wine myself? Or how would I have been able to get this stuff out of the castle? Like, I wanted to say some of that, but it's like, what did I do? Drink it all? Did I remove it from the castle? Why would I ruin good wine? Like, there's no reason for him to do any of these things. And he wouldn't have even if he did remove the wine, where would he put it? He's a poor guy that lives at the castle.
Mm-hmm. Coming downstairs with one of the guards after you stop hearing your entire area being trashed, comes the Count and one of his guards, Sir Tarek. Now,
was it appropriate for me to stand when they enter?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so I stand when they enter.
You stand when they come down the stairs, but when they reach your floor.
Mm-hmm.
And you stand up and he just waves you down like insect down. No, more like insect down.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, he doesn't appear to be a people person.
Yeah. Well, he's very much in the class structure. So
yes, and he's a very typical noble where you are a servant.
You are beneath me.
He's not the Duke. Umo, go fetch me the chief steward. And the chief steward walks out, and from what I've been told, no one has seen any wine leave this house. Yes, that is correct. You did personally taste the wine that went bad. Yes, I did. It was vinegar, sir. You witnessed the Duke's wine in his bedchamber. Now my bedchamber, missing. You went in with what's your name?
Emo,
yes. Emil, and
what a jerk.
I'm assuming that's Michael thinking.
Yeah. Well, what's your name? Emil. People, you know that like that's a pet peeve of mine because people do that to me on a near daily basis. Someone did that to me literally today.
They ask you your name and then they get it wrong?
They're like, oh, hi, I'm John. Hi, I'm Michael. Oh, nice to meet you, Mike. I didn't say Mike. I said Michael.
Well, this is even worse.
They do it to me all the time.
You said your name is Michael, and he's like, oh, Ickle.
Yeah, right.
It's not even
I realize that, but to me, it's the same thing.
I know.
So, like, I correct people. Sarah laughs at me when I do it to people. Like, at this point, I choose my battles. Like, there are some people who, like depending on the circumstance, like, I just won't say anything. I'll let it go. But if I'm going to do more business with that person, I want them to understand that I don't like being called Mike. Yeah, I want to be called Michael. So
I didn't know that.
Funny.
Okay. And Yoha looks at him completely straight on his face and goes, when was this?
I'm sorry, what was the question that he asked? I'm like totally lost.
If he went with you to the Duke's chamber to see if the wine was there, and completely honestly looking, Yoha goes, no.
Yoha, you and I went up there, was it yesterday?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was afternoon yesterday.
Yoha, we went up into you took me into the Duke's bedchambers yesterday.
No.
Yes, you did.
And Yoha does not like you, nor does he like anyone.
But I want to.
I'm pointing this out to you and to the audience right now.
I know that, but I get that, and I know you're pointing it out. But I want to be clear that I perceiving that this is him not liking me, or does he seem genuine that he has no idea what I'm talking about?
That's what I'm trying to clear up.
Okay.
Yoha definitely does not like Michael.
Yoha does not know Michael. He might not like Emo.
Yes, or him. Either one. He doesn't like either one.
He likes neither one of you.
He calls you Mike all the time, too. He's a real jerk.
Yeah, what a jerk that guy is. He calls Emo Michael. It makes no sense.
You've never, even when he's been embarrassed because of his own mistake, he's never once lied about the job.
Okay, well then, in knowing
that's
that...
why I want you to understand that before you respond.
Fair enough.
And you, as strongly as you don't believe the guy you love next door and the family that you love that got killed did not kill them, you do not believe that this man who would spit on your grave, he's not that bad, but this guy who would not, he might even miss you a little bit. Yeah,
but
because you are
might miss me, but not mourn me.
Yes, yeah, he'll miss your skill as a steward, not as a, he did always think you were a skilled wine steward.
Now here's a very important detail. Do I know if he looks at me the same way when it comes to honesty? Would he not question my word the way I would not question his?
If it was about being a wine steward, he would not question your word.
Okay, but possibly about the recounting of these events. This is going to make me look so suspect.
No, he would. If he didn't go in with you for real, and you told him that you went in and didn't find the wine, and it was about the wine, he would believe you.
Okay.
But he does look generally very genuine when he says what he says.
I'm confused. What is his name again? Yoha. I'm confused, Yoha. You came to me yesterday and brought me into the Duke's chambers. And I'm saying this absolutely genuine. Like I'm not questioning his word. I'm just relaying my experience. And together we went up and checked the two spare bottles that I assume, was I aware of these two bottles, or was this just that I didn't know where they were? He brought me to them.
Oh, you knew where they were because it was your job to make sure that there was wine in those every morning.
I thought it was there. Well, I thought it was I gave it to him and he put it there.
No.
Okay.
You and him know all of those stashes that are for the Duke specifically. Only you two probably know all of them, but because it's your job to make sure that when, like, if the Duke's there, like, he goes out, Yoha's taking care of the rest of the stuff. You would go upstairs to ensure that wine was enough to get through the next evening. Okay,
so fair enough. So I recount briefly my experience yesterday, stating that he took me up there and we checked I seem to remember it being a box that you described that there were two bottles. Okay.
And it was actually a locked box that you kind of
and then
he pulled apart. He did.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember.
It was his idea to go upstairs, if I remember correctly.
It was. So relay that, and I'm not relaying it in an accusatory way in any way.
Yeah, I'm just stating as in your shot.
Yes.
And he raises his hand and is like, "That would make perfect sense to me, but I do not remember going with you last night." It's like, that did not happen. I don't know why you think it would have.
I mean, I'm not remembering these things wrong. I'm not miscounting this. This happened.
Please return to your room. Is it Johnel? Yes, sir. And he leaves.
Johnel?
That's what he said to Yoha.
He called Yoha Jana. Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay. He looks up at you, kind of like a human viewing, not quite understanding why he's looking at garbage right now.
Mm-hmm.
So a little more disgust than he did before he knew your name. Just a little bit. Now, we can continue this, or you can tender your resignation. It is your choice.
Well, we shall continue this.
That was your choice. Umo, bring in the cook. little greasy, little weaselly, unknowably guy goes slithering into the kitchen.
Oh, that's who he was ordering.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm sure Kirk's like, wait, is he calling me Umo now?
Well, no, I thought he was getting the greasy guy from the kitchen as to say like that's the guy that's the cook, and he was saying he was going into the kitchen, not from. So I was confused.
Yes, he went sputtering into the kitchen.
Gotcha.
And a few moments later, he walks out with Alessandra. Sorry, that is a good name. I'm attracted sexually to her name.
It's a good name.
Yeah. Very hot name. Okay. He's like, Alessandra, you've only worked here for a short time. Have you ever seen this man leaving the castle with cask of wine? Yes, my lord. When I was coming in 2 mornings ago, he was carrying cask out through the stable exit.
Correct me if I'm wrong. She hasn't been here for 2 days.
Nope.
Sir Tarek, Velisandra hasn't worked here but 1 day. She would not have been able to.
He starts laughing. He starts laughing.
Why?
The count.
I don't.
You tell me why. When you say she hasn't worked here for 2 days, as soon as you say that, he starts laughing. Yes, well, according to all of the people here, except for you, she's worked here for a week.
How has she been here for a week and I haven't? How have you been here for a week and we were only introduced yesterday?
She looks at you like you're insane. No, we met a week ago.
What on earth is going on around here?
List your skills off to me.
Has likable, organized, resourceful, and intelligent. Intelligence I just burned a few minutes ago. So Tarek, forgive me, please, but you're asking someone that's only known me a week. I assume that the people that have known me for years have also been asked.
Yes. Would you like me to bring in another witness?
No, I assume they're going to say the same thing. You say, I have left this castle with casks of wine. And I'm turning asking her this.
She said, I assumed they were empty, but yeah. Oh, and you've not left the castle with any cask of wine.
Well, right.
That's why. Do it even if they're empty.
I wouldn't remove casks from the castle even if they were empty. That this is something is going on here. Like this is not. I didn't do this. I have no reason to, nor the resources to.
Okay, you notice that the Count's face goes to board now.
Of course.
You may leave now with a resignation and no recommendations for future employment. If I bring in anybody else who corroborates this story, I will have you executed.
So Tarek, I'm innocent of this. I did not do this. There's no reason for me to do this. I've been here for more than 20 years. This is my home.
I don't know. Maybe when your Raven friend or whatever can speak, he can shed light, but I'm telling you, I have more witnesses. If you want me to bring them in, I'm bored of this. If one more of them verifies the story, I'm just going to execute you right here on the table. Your choice.
That is no choice. That is no choice at all.
So then I guess you are tendering your resignation, or should I just kill you now? Oh, I didn't bring in another person first. Do you think I didn't do my homework? I'm some form of idiot?
No, not at all, sir. But obviously there's something else going on here with all the other strange events that have occurred today. Surely you don't believe it's simply one man that has stolen wine. There's something more nefarious at play.
Perhaps, but either way, you're at the center of it. You can either.
But I'm not.
Should I call in the next witness? Huh?
I assume like there is no real court. It's pretty much whoever's in charge there say, I can't be like, look, you can't do this. This isn't fair. This isn't legal, blah, blah, blah.
You could appeal to the liege of the land, but apparently he is that guy.
Yeah.
So that he would be the guy you would appeal to in these circumstances. Technically, even though he works for the Duke, he works for the Duke. All of you now work for him or no.
Turn back to her.
And to be honest, if he just stabbed you through and said that you did it.
Oh, yeah. No one's going to question you. Of course. I understand that. Sir Timrick, if your witnesses say that I was in a given place at a given time and I can provide witnesses that state otherwise, will you believe me? Will you believe them?
I believe I gave you two choices because I'm not bored. You can resign, or I can call him one more witness, and I'm about to call him in. So you make the choice now.
Sir Timrick, I'm trying.
Sorry. I was like,
Jeff's giving me the zip it symbol.
And that was not the Count doing that. That was just Jeffrey being Jeffrey.
I just turned to her and say, when did you see me?
2 mornings ago. She looks completely honest.
And where was I 2 mornings ago?
2 mornings ago, it would have been a typical day. You would have got up, you would have tested the wine in the house. You would have been in the castle all day.
So part of that time would have been me spent alone, so somebody can't really verify my whereabouts.
Yeah, and you could probably, in your mind, you didn't do it, but you could, in theory, probably go out through the stables, which is right near the exit gate. The guard would probably notice you.
It's a feasible thing.
It's a feasible thing, and for a guy who doesn't know you.
Yeah.
And you're assuming this guy doesn't look stupid either. He probably has someone else who's willing to back this story up, and you're pretty sure he must. Because he does not look like the kind who bluffs.
No, I assume that. Sir Timrick, I will tender my resignation.
You can be gone.
But I do intend to look into this further for the safety of the castle.
As long as you don't do it in the castle, you're free to be a layabout. And if I find out that you are loitering, then we'll deal with a loiterer. But if you're not loitering, you're freeman. You can do as you wish.
All right. Well, do I have belongings to gather?
You have some stuff of your own downstairs.
May I gather my things?
Yes, and then you may be on. Don't come back at the castle. Unless summoned.
This guy blows.
Okay.
I hope Ravens needs a bartender. Sounds like there's an opening.
To be my wife? Hey, I'm not married. Okay. All right.
Don't ask, don't tell.
So you go downstairs and gather your stuff, and you go up and you walk out. That's where we're going to cut off because I see an hour. 40.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a long.
And
I'm sure there's some stuff
there's some stuff to cut out, but I'll give you the choice. This does not need to be the last episode. We could do another episode.
I want to do another episode because I want to see what's going on, and I don't want you to tell me. Let's figure it out, because I know I could pry it out of you if I started asking. Oh, yeah. But I don't want to know. I want to play a little bit, and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
So do we say that the next episode will be the fate of the wine steward?
We will say the next episode will then probably be the fate of the wine steward. Because
I was tempted to let him get killed right there. I was tempted.
Well, that wasn't how I was planning to kill you originally.
Oh, he wasn't like. No, I mean like right there. If I had stuck and said,
he would have stood up and slit your throat.
Okay, yeah, great, awesome. I'm bored. Blah.
I'm bored. Oh, do you want another witness? If I have to do this, you're gonna pay.
The thing is like this, because this guy. The thing that I don't buy is because he's clearly not an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
He must be perceptive enough to realize that there's something else going on here. And not only that, like, what reason would I have to do any of the things I'm being, set of? Like, if I have been consistent for 2 decades, what would suddenly cause me to want to ruin and or steal wine?
Because you've lived here your whole life.
No, I know that, but it's been my job for 20 years, and for 20 years I've been consistent, and anyone that's been in the castle for that quantity of time can attest to that.
Yes, and Yoha,
but he doesn't seem to care though.
Yoha would normally back you up because, one, you're competent in your job, and where he doesn't like you, he doesn't like anyone. So that would matter to him. Right. But you know what I'm saying though? It's like Yoha, like, he really, like, if you said you'd gone up and done it and he wasn't there, he would have believed you absolutely. And he definitely was there. Unless you're completely insane, and she's been there a week, and he wasn't there with you.
Right. See, what I'm thinking is going on here is there's either some little magical whatever, or somebody's a shapeshifter, or like that. The player in me, that's what I think. I think somebody's using a glamour, or there's a shapeshifter, or some weird business like that is occurring. Or someone is taking control of me. Maybe I did do it, and somebody has erased that memory from me, or was in control of me at the time, so I don't remember, something like that. But that doesn't explain why I have memories of me and Yoha going upstairs that he doesn't remember.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's all. All
right. So, do we have a world builder and a real world task?
We don't do those when we game because we
don't.
Too much time. No, we've never done them.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, already then.
So have fun. That's the tasks.
Go enjoy your day, and thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
Have your game master go kill a player.
And on a side note, I will say this: we're getting into the holiday season. You guys are going to be doing some shopping on Amazon. Go to www.garduel.com/Amazon. It'll take you to right to Amazon. You guys can do your Christmas shopping, your holiday shopping, your whatever shopping you're going to do, but it'll help the show out. We would appreciate that. I just made an order on Amazon today that way.
Woohoo! All right. So go out, shop. Don't buy stuff you don't need, but if you need it, like Michael said, garduel.com/Amazon. Or if you hate us, go to a different show. Go to smallbizlife.com/Amazon. See you next time.
Thank you so much for listening to the World Builders Anvil. We would love it if you would share the World Builders Anvil with 2 of your friends, and so would they. If they are unfamiliar with podcasts, then you get to introduce them to the wonderful world of podcasting by showing them Stitcher or iTunes, or, best of all, just send them to our website, www.garduel.com. That's GARDUL.com.
Now strike while the mithril's hot.